Welcome to the Nomad Studio livestream. Today I'm just going to do a really chill session of organizing my outliner because I've added, since creating the base meshes, I think I've added quite a lot of different objects. Why are you showing up? Different objects, and yeah, it's just like every significant step of the way I usually do some outliner organization. I think I've already done a few live streams just like organizing my outliner, because I feel like these kind of things probably don't see it that often, probably because it's very boring. You don't really see it that often, but then sometimes I do get questions about like how to do these kinds of organizations, and I think a lot of times like these were things that I organically picked up from just doing a lot of 3D and like messing up and learning from mistakes. And yeah, I'm kind of pretty happy with how I organize my outliner now. But yeah, probably just like for beginners or newbies, like this would be more relevant, and then everyone else after that, you probably already have your own ways of organizing things. But I find like organization is kind of like a important step to not go insane, because especially when it's yeah, when there's a lot of things. But yeah, I don't really know how long the stream will go on for, because like maybe the outliner is more organized than I thought or something. But yeah, I'll probably rename things too. But yeah, I probably should rename a lot of these things. Like, I'm not sure what these are. What boxes are these? I see. These are like old stuff. I should probably rename this. But in my previous live stream, I started the live stream talking about a specific bouldering problem that I did at my gym. And then I was like, wait a minute, like how come I don't have a video of it of me doing it? Because it was quite difficult to show it on stream. So actually maybe I should just let me yeah, let me talk about it in this chill session. I think that's also why I wanted to do the stream, because I was like, I feel like I wouldn't have time to talk about these things when the lightning about these things if I'm doing my female head sculpt live stream. So just to make things separate. But look at this. I think this is the I'm so hyped about this. So yesterday I was talking about, I mean, just for context, I like to do bouldering, and currently I'm bouldering like every alternate day. And right now in the gym, I'm climbing. When I started out climbing more than a year ago, I was climbing around level, let me see, level 2, 3, and then now I'm climbing like 4 and a little bit of 5. I mean, only 3 5s, but I've been trying to climb like very small bits of 5. And then there's this like level 6 one, which I'm like, wow, the start move is so interesting to me. I don't know whether I will be able to explain well like what is so interesting about it. But I feel like so hyped about it. So let me just I'm just going to. I'm sorry about distracting. Getting distracted all the time. But sometimes it's like I do want to talk about things I'm interested in because I feel like there's a really strong bleed over to making art for me. But so yesterday I was sculpting this. Yesterday I was like adjusting him to do like specific move, and then I was saying that I can remember. I was saying that I can remember like the holds better now. So I think I got this hold kind of right, but then this time I got it completely flipped around. Like yesterday, I sculpted it like 180 degrees, like was completely off. But yeah, this is like the start move, which I was struggling on. This part is like, so the whole move goes from here to the left, and then up here, and then it goes up all the way there, and then the start move was like this. And I guess like one of the reasons why I like to talk about these kind of bouldering things is because one of the reasons why I could make progress in my art is because I use the experiences I learned from bouldering to teach myself how to, for one thing, like how to learn to spot progression, which I feel was very difficult for me last time. And another thing is like figuring how to make things fun for myself, including sculpting. And I think that thing, lightning sounds cool. I mean thunder. And the third thing, so that's this thing of learning how to spot progression. 2 is learning how to kind of like spot the enjoyment, like how to make things fun in the long term. Because in the course of climbing for less than 1.5 years, there were many times when I felt demotivated, and I kind of felt like, oh man, climbing is not fun anymore. There were a lot of times when I felt that way, and then I'll find a problem like this one, and then suddenly, like right before doing this, I was finding that climbing was a little bit like not fun for me in that short 1 week. And then after finding this one and other problems, I was like, oh, climbing is fun again. And I do relate that to how I do apply those experiences to how I do sculpting or like make art in general. And because I'm trying to do painting, 2D painting too, I try to, and like 2D painting side, I feel like I struggle even more with it. So being able to find enjoyment in 2D painting, like on a consistent basis, like it's really important to me. And wait, was this like 1 and 2? What is the third one? I don't really know. But yeah, like in the previous session, like I'm sorry, like I went more into like a rant kind of mode because it's very hard to fix my old habits. But then like I was kind of thinking about how, I was just thinking about how like I've made progression and all that, and then I was thinking like actually I haven't really talked about like the methods that actually the actual methods that made my progression worked. And then thinking about this climb and thinking about wanting to talk about this climb made me realize that this is one of the ways that made me want to progress in my art. But yeah, I probably doesn't make sense, but it only makes sense in my head. But that's probably what matters. But oh, and then like the I guess that the thing would be through like bouldering, I learned how to like find problems that is within my skill limit, but not like not in a comfortable range. So it's very comfortable and super easy to always do problems that is very in your comfort zone and like not at like the progressive overload range, which means like let's say if you're capable of doing like a level 3 and wait, you're capable of doing like some level 5s, but then you're always doing level 3s because that is what feels comfortable to you, then it's very difficult to try and progress if you don't do as much like level 4s and level 5s. The same thing goes with sculpting for me. Like I'm always trying to do sculpts that are difficult for me, and but there's like this balance of like something that is difficult for me usually makes me feel like I hate life and like I don't want to have it's very difficult for me to have fun doing it. So it's always like finding the delicate balance of something that's not too difficult but something that is beyond my comfort zone. So for this one, yeah, with this bouldering problem, like I could really, when I reflect back on the past week, I could really see the progression that I made with this one, which is on the first day I couldn't stand on this, and then the second day, I mean like across different session, and then the second time I did this, I finally could stand on it and touch the starting hold, like start it properly. Like for context, when you're doing bouldering, you can see like all these tags, and if there is no right and left hand indicator, it means that you need to match both hands on that starting hold to start the problem. So I think it's not clear for this, but for let's say something like this is like a level 3, and there's a left hand and there's a right hand. So you start with this left, right hand, and your leg is here, and then for this specific move you kind of need to put your left leg on the wall to balance out like that. So for this particular one, I couldn't do the start move because I couldn't like this is super new to me. So let me just show you the start move. So I could finally get this in like the second session after trying it multiple times. And the reason why I could finally get it was because I could how to say, like if you're looking at this that way, my knee is not my foot is putting pressure on this volume here, but then it's not just putting pressure, like it's putting, if you kind of like look at it a bit closely, my knee is facing the wall. So like I just like to talk about these kind of things, so it's good. Oh, where's my pen? Yeah, so from the side view, the holes look pretty shit. Something like this, and then I'm stepping like this, and if I just passively step, I would just fall off. The wall. But then if just imagine that this is my knee, and this is like my front leg, and then this is my toe, and I'm exaggerating this move, then why is this pen so dry? Oh no. I hope I didn't. Hope I didn't stain my towel. But because I could point my knee, this is exaggerated because there isn't a lot of space in like between the wall and me. But because I could do like a calf raise inward towards the wall, I could keep my hip in like this. And this way I wouldn't fall out of the wall. So like for this one, it's really about keeping my hip in, and my back foot is also trying to press, trying to put some pressure so that I can keep myself in this very narrow space to match the hand and then finally grab it. The first time that I did this, I made the mistake of thinking that I need to hold this really hard, but then the hold was like the hold was something like this and something like that. So there's nothing to grip on. I think it's more like this. So the hold was something like this, and there's nothing to like grip onto this. Normally like you have something that you can kind of like grip on, but then this one was just like, if you apply too much pressure, then you're just going to slide off it. So the second time round, I really focus on doing like a seated calf raise on this, and then I adjusted my position so that my back leg can also apply a little bit of pressure, and then keeping my hips like more open to stay into the wall. And while I do this, I have a little bit of space between the wall and this. So like in the first few sessions, I mean the first few times when I made a mistake, imagine this is my shoulder. Imagine this is my shoulder, and I had no space to put this shoulder joint through to squeeze in between the wall and my torso. So I was more like this. And then because of that, when I try to reach out on my lap hand, it pushes me off the wall. But yeah, so I'm like super proud that I finally got this move. And then yesterday, I was like really tired from all the sculpting, and then I was like I want to learn how to get to the next one. And so I finally, so like for context, I have this injury on my left. Let's see. Imagine this is me. And this is the knee joint, and this is the calf, and then this is the peroneals, and then there's like the main calf that attaches to the Achilles tendon. So this is the side, this is the main calf. So like on my foot, if this is like my foot on the front view, I don't know how to draw a foot. Then this is the ankle ball. Then this is like kind of like where it attaches to. Oh my god, it looks so shit. And then there's this like diagonal part of the foot. Why does it look so wrong? There's this diagonal part of my foot which is like compressed and chronically injured. So like for context, like my inner calf muscle and my outer calf muscle on my left leg and my inner calf muscle on my right leg is like tighter than than it should be. So yeah, this kind of like there are a lot of things going on that created these kind of small imbalances, but like problems like this really highlighted the thing. I'm not really sure why like I find it so difficult to talk about these things concisely. I'm really sorry. But yeah, so the first mistake that I made was that as I'm moving to the left side, I was putting a lot of pressure on this one, because I was trying to like imagine if I do like a this is the heel of the foot. If I do calf raises like this straight on, it's fine, but if I do calf raises on the outer side, it really triggers the chronic injury, the weakness on this area here. So because of this move where the starting hold is slanted like this, and it's not like this, it's not like that, so I can't do a straight on calf raise here. It will kind of like force my foot to do a calf raise on the outer edge of my foot. like all these climbing things like always make me so interested in anatomy and all that. This is also how I learned anatomy, by the way. So the outer foot is just like put too much pressure on an area that is currently like one of my biggest weakness. Like another weakness that I have is that my right calf over here, it's kind of like it was below average in flexibility, which was why I used to injure my Achilles tendon, my right, a lot in the past. But now it's already average. But then being average is not enough for moves like this where you have to do a calf raise but at the extended position. You can see like this is the maximum that I can bend. Like sometimes you'll see like climbers being able to do this like this angle is so crazy. But right now this is the maximum that I can do. So like the first time that I did this move, like I had to rub out my calf muscle a lot because this is like the maximum flexibility that I can do. But also whenever you're doing like maximum flexibility and maximum strength at the same time, it's really tiring on the muscle. So yeah, I'm glad that I could strengthen this part, so like now this start move is not a problem for me anymore. Yes. You see, like this kind of progression is like how, like these are the little lessons that I like to apply onto my sculpting journey, because if not, like I will kind of like go crazy. And then but at the same time, it's like even if like I talk about all these, like it's quite difficult to feel it until you try it for yourself, but it might also be that I'm not capable of explaining the moves that well yet. But yeah, this was like a really interesting problem for me, because for one thing, like it highlighted my right calf muscle inflexibility, mobility, and then my left one was having trouble with this next move where I had to move to the left. So you can see that this time around I could make it. So the move is to go to the left of this, something like that. And I'm doing it very slow because I'm not strong enough to do it fast. So that's the move. So this was like, I could only get this near the end of yesterday's bouldering session, which is because half of the time, or more than half of the time, I was struggling with trying to get there. Not sure whether I can find the video. I think it was something like this. So this is my previous attempt, and then you can't really see it, but I was feeling a lot of pressure on this area here, which I'm chronically very stiff and tight at. And it's like when you're just doing walking, running, you don't really, or at least I don't really feel this part where I have a chronic lack of mobility at. So I think this move was the first time in a while that I felt this, and I'm like, man, I need to use this to work on strengthening this part. So the first few times that after I managed to move to the left, I was finding this move super, super difficult because it was just like so painful on my leg, because my leg is not strong enough to kind of like stand on the outer edge like this. It wasn't strong enough to do that. So eventually I made it pass by doing some adjustments, which is to, instead of trying to stand on the outer edge of my toe, I try to like point my toe inwards a bit. So this is the hold. So if I step facing the wall, I will have no choice but to use my outer foot to press on. But if I face this way, and then this is my foot, if I face this way, and this is my foot, I can kind of like convert the hold into a flat floor, like this, and then turn it into a normal calf raise, like that. So that was it's very subtle, but I'm not sure whether it's visible in this one. So like because I could, yeah, I think it was something like that. Although I may be wrong about this whole thing, but I think that was kind of like, that was the main change that I did so that I could finally get past to this position. And after that, I don't know how to do this part. But then I'm just like really happy that I could do the first half of this move, because I couldn't do it last week. So just like feeling this progression was really fun for me. But yeah, I think I probably talked too much about bouldering right now. But yeah, these are the kind of things that happens during my bouldering sessions. And you can see like all these little learning lessons, like learning points that I get from bouldering sessions have been so helpful for me in terms of like mentality or tackling artworks, because yeah, I feel like there's something about physical mobility that like it feels so much more straightforward than improving my art, for example, because I think like in terms of art, there's this additional complication of how art is very subjective, like how art, like the art style that you like is, or even like the music that you like is so personal, like so subjective that like you don't really, how to say, it's like some people will find this nice and some people will find that this is not really that nice, no matter like what the skill level is, like no matter what level that art is. Whereas like for physical mobility, it's like if you can't do the move, then you're weak, and if you can do the move, then you're strong, something like that. Like it's like so much more straightforward, and like I feel like because of that straightforward nature, hello Gohan friend, thanks for coming into the stream. Yeah, very nice. Yes, thank you. And yeah, so like because with climbing, or like doing sports in general, is physical mobility is like so straightforward for me. Like you either can't do it or you can do it. Like people are not going to be like, oh, you can't do a front lever, like maybe, but then like that art style is so cool, like it's cool that you cannot do a front lever. I don't know, something like that. Like people are just going to be like, oh, you can't do a front lever, then you're not strong enough to do a front lever, something like that. Front lever is when you're holding a bar, and then your leg is here, and then your body's straight, your arm is holding the pull-up bar or like a dip bar, and then you're like horizontal. This is a move that I want to be able to do one day. Partly because it's really it really applies well to climbing moves, because being able to do front lever means that you can hang off like let's say if the climbing wall is like this and you have holds like that, then being able to do a front lever means that you can hold on to this better to get onto the next hold, something like this. So it transfers really well. But yeah, like all these things that I learned from physical mobility, it's just like so helpful to help me put my artworks into perspective and just think about like the three things of what can I do in my art right now to make it fun for me, so that I can do it all year round. And then spotting progression, because sometimes it feels really invisible. I think when like something like this, I'll forget that I have made so much progress in this, because I'm just like staring at this so many times, like every single day I'm looking at this. So it becomes more invisible, like the type of just like the improvements I made on this sculpt, or even other sculpts. And then the third thing is what was the third thing? But yeah, it's just a lot more straightforward when I think about those things in that perspective. So let me just yeah, that's about it. It's a very long exposition, but I think that's why going forward, I always thought that I wanted to do something that combines art and physical mobility together, because like you can just see from what I just explained for so long that is why am I like how like important it is and how intertwined they both are in my life. And it's like the reason why I learned about leg anatomy in the first place, or like even upper body anatomy, or like for head wise, like I still don't really know that much yet, because I haven't really dealt with like any physical mobility issues on like the head area. But things like learning learning what muscle this is that extends out to connect to the fingers here. Like even learning about how the fingers have no muscles. They are all like tendons and ligaments, and the muscles are kind of like here. Like I learned that this is the pollicus muscle, and the pollicus is helpful for doing moves like this. This is the pollicus muscle. So like sometimes when I feel like twinges on these things, it's because my pollicus muscle is like too weak, so I need to strengthen that. And then this is I think this is like the extensor digitorum. It's so insane that I remember all these things now, because like they're so relatable to me. but it extends out to these muscles here. And I think this one is important for things like gripping really hard, whether or not it's like a crimp or a sloper, like all these different kinds of gripping. As long as you're like gripping really hard, it uses this muscle a lot. Things like that. Like, it's also interesting. Like, I used to not know anything about anatomy because like they were just like so irrelevant to me. But now that like I want to improve and climb like harder movements and do like harder boulders, like they're also relevant to me right now. And because I find that relevant, like I also somehow find it relevant for sculpting, because I'm like, I want to sculpt better. Like I want to be able to sculpt my characters a lot better. And one of the things that you can't avoid in sculpting humanoid things is learning anatomy. But because I never knew how to learn anatomy until doing sports. So okay, there's one thing that I want to fix though. Like, I feel like the side view looks a bit weird. So maybe I'll just message. So I'm going to push everything forward. Like, I was so focused on doing the front view that my side view looks a little bit off. Like there's this very strange posture. Wait, like there's this very strange posture like that. So I'm going to correct it to like a more neutral position like this. Listen to some music. And then after this, I will correct my lake in that outliner. And the learning point for this stream, because I like to share a learning point every stream, is there's this in the gizmo tool, you can see in the left menu here, there are these target options. So changing these, oh, there's a vertex one, I see. So changing these will, I don't really know what these are, but I switch between these two pretty often now that I know that it exists. So let's say you have a whole bunch of things that are parented to each other and it's set to auto by default. If you select this only, it will also affect everything else that is parented underneath. So like in the past, I used to do this. I used to take this out and then I move this and then I put this back. I put them back in and it's like super tedious. So now let me just make sure that I didn't mess it up. So now I know that you can change this to object target, and when I only select, so if you select everything, it'll still do this, but if you only select one object like this, then you can move you can move the parent object without affecting everything else that's parented to it. Hello Rob 3D Design, welcome back. Better anatomy name. Draw a skull face with muscle. Yeah, I remember doing practices like that too. I forgot, like my teachers will print out, this is like for figure drawing, my teachers will print out what's this, like all these anatomy books. I forgot the name of the like what those, I forgot the names of like all those famous artists with like really good anatomy, what's that thing called, yeah, anatomy drawings. And then you're supposed to, so like she'll print out all these drawings that she feels that it's very good to learn from, and then yes, our assignments are to like copy draw the exact same copy on a sheet of paper. So but then I felt like I realized after many years that I don't really remember a lot of things that I copied, because I was just like copying for the sake of copying, and like I am really good at copying things. But then I realized that being good at copying things also meant that, like, might also mean that I don't learn that much from copying, because the thing that I learned was just like how to copy things properly. But yeah, we also did some like of those what's that thing called, like what's it, the plaster models, and then they'll do like a 3-point lighting on the plaster models, and they're supposed to draw like a still life drawing of it. But I think it wasn't a lot, I think, or at least like in the short span of time it wasn't enough to learn everything. Let me see if okay, so I probably can just parent this first. So this is the shin. I don't really know like what I'm supposed to call this. Normally like lower leg, I'll just call it the shin. I don't know why I don't call it the calf. I just call it the shin. And I like to use my macropad. So with outliner organization, I like to click on the objects to find it. Man, it feels a bit, I'm not sure whether it's because my fingers feel a bit bare right now, because I was trying so hard on my bouldering moves that my skin is a little bit sanded down. So these are already named it, so I can just do this. I'm not really sure why that one wasn't. I think this is not supposed to be toes, I guess. So these are all instances of each other, that's why they're all called toe back. But this is the front, so I should I also like to use my wireless keyboard to do this, or else it's super tedious. So I don't know whether I should name them actually, like 1, 2, 3 or something. Or maybe I'll just name it as like in and out. Like I learned a lot about the foot through climbing. Like if you watch like my whole explanation of like what I analyze with my climbs, you can see like how just putting pressure on like the outer inner foot really matters a lot. And through all those things, and also triggering like all my chronic injuries and like strengthening them so that they can get past the moves that I'm trying. Yeah, I learned so much about the foot that way. I think it's, yeah, I just find it so amazing, like learning anatomy through exercise. Like I kind of wish that I did that more often last time. So this in, this is toe, this out. Why is this quad spear? Why didn't... Something that I would recommend is to rename an object first before duplicating them. So now it's mine. So this is the toe back, claw back, and they should I want to put the back at the bottom, and then in, toe, and out. I can also just call this like mid. I don't really, sometimes I don't call it like toe 1, 2, and 3, because when you duplicate these, then it will be labeled as like toe out 1. So if I call it like 1, 2, 3, then it will just be like toe 1 space 1, something like that. I don't know whether that makes sense. So I'm going to select all this and then put this underneath the shin, and then now I can correct this properly. I can correct them as a whole thing. I noticed yesterday when I was trying to adjust his legs so that he can do the climbing move that I talked about, and then yeah, everything wasn't parented properly. So I want to do that properly today. Which was also why I decided to do this stream, because yesterday I realized that my outliner was so messy. So I need to neaten everything up. Also, one thing, I guess I'm not sure why this thing sticks out so much. I think whenever I do outliner organization, it's also a good time to make sure that my sculpt is looking good at different directions. Let's see, this one can go out more so that it doesn't remain hidden behind the legs. So correcting this, let's correct this a bit. Just make sure that it doesn't poke through this skirt stuff. This one is, so I also want to parent the elastics to the pants, something like that, and I'll just name this as just pants first, and then when I start posing him, then I will, oh, you see, sometimes I forget that I'm under object, then I need to change this back to auto so that it will do its job again. So actually I realized that, oh, but then now I want to set this to object. I realized that I don't need to have two different mirrors, so I can probably parent it like this, and I can delete this one because it's not needed. Then this way I can keep forgetting. Then this way I can do this now. I think this like a lot better now. I see every single object now tracks properly like that. And if I want him to grab onto something, that's a lot cool. Then around this point, at this point, I like to correct my gizmo position. You can see like it's a little bit off. So let me see, it should be high up like this. I can also correct the gizmo position a bit. Actually, wait, is it aligned to the symmetry? Oh yeah, it is aligned to the symmetry. So I guess I made him like step outward a little bit. Then this one, I'm not sure whether I want to, whether or not I want to align this pivot point to the wall axis, something like that. and just like centralize it even more, and maybe just move it down a little bit so that it's more like the hip joint instead of the edge of the geometry. So that looks pretty good. And then let me see. So the legs are done. So I'm just going to make this less complicated. I guess sometimes now I like to just name the repeaters by the name only, because I guess I'm like more used to it now, so I can tell like this icon here, it means mirror repeater. But for the longest time, like I was just naming my stuff as like mirror back feathers, or like I will call this like a tube armor piece, like that. But then now I'm just going to call it like that because it's a lot more straightforward, and I can see the squiggly lines means that it's a tube. So just making sure that he's standing up properly, like this, and it looks good. Probably more, a little bit. This at this point it's like a really minor change kind of thing. I just want to straighten him out a bit. So that's done. Like it's all good, I think. Pants, elastic, shin, toe, claw. Okay, this done. And the good thing about here, this keyboard's in the way. The good thing about naming things properly before validating any repeaters is that when I validate this, you can see that it duplicates the object, and the names are all correct this way. Whereas if you keep the names as like quad sphere, and then you mirror, and then you validate the mirror, then every single object it will be called quad sphere, which is kind of like not too bad if you have a keyboard, but then at the same time, like sometimes it's just a lot easier to save your time, just rename it first before validating the objects. So this one, I'm just gonna do the easy stuff first, I guess. So I don't really know what this thing is called though. I guess I'll just call it that. If you don't know what it's called, just rename it as like something very straightforward. Then, oh my god, this all tubes. I'll probably call this, I think. I'm not sure whether or not I want to name them very specific, like skirt string on the right or something. See how easy it is to use a keyboard for this. I wish that there's a way to press F2 while selecting this to rename it, but then I think it's not possible, I think. So once I've named everything, like this one too, once I've named everything, I'm just going to organize them in the order that I see on the screen. So shit, let me see one. Maybe I just create a group. So with a tube tool, the gizmo is going to be really messy like this. So I'll just select an object that I know the gizmo is quite neat, and then I'll create a group there. So I'll create a group, something like this, and I will move it to this position. I'll clone this first and move it to this position, and just position the average of this, something like that. Something like this. And now I can group this up. I also need to fix this this thing, which let me show you how to fix where my outliner is super messy. You can see, like, when I don't have the mirror repeater on, the object that is being mirrored, they are both at the opposite ends. So normally like this, what I would do, let me undo that, I'll duplicate the mirror repeater like this, and then I will put the object that I want to mirror like that, and I'll validate this. Then once I validate that, I will have both objects like this. Then I will select the one. I'll select the one that I want, like this, and then delete the other one. So again, I will select this one. I'll select this side and delete this. Now when let's do this again. Then now when I isolate the object without the mirror repeater, you can see that both the group and both the tubes tool is on the right side. So this is like a quick way, that kind of like a quick hack that I like to do to quickly get my mirror repeaters and objects. Oh my god, stop it. No. You feel like this is always so finicky. Let me remove this because I don't need this one. So another part of like outliner cleanup that I like to do is to delete objects that are probably just like going to be hidden all the time. Then I'm just gonna delete them. Like, they were useful when I was trying to figure out how to arrange things, or like creating more objects so that I can kind of like see more negative shapes with. But now that everything is more or less settled, then I don't need the one hidden over there. Then I can delete that too. I can probably also do this. So because this is the group, I can also name it. And now I know that this group belongs to this one, and this group belongs to that one. So that's the skirt string done. And then I realized that there's another batch of these, so I need to rename them. can see that when I instance them, I didn't rename them, so now I need to spend like a little bit more time to rename every single object. Whereas if I had just bothered to rename these, then I don't need to do this. Wait, what's this? Like, I may also consider like not naming the child objects as like skirt diamond top. Like maybe I might consider calling it just like diamond top or diamond bottom. But I think I'll just keep it that way. So this one is the second one, and this one is the outer one. So maybe I can call this the same way, just to so these are all good now. The string is good, this out is good. I'll probably put the inner one on top and then the outer one here, then the middle one and the outer one in the front. And then just to make sure without the see, so like now when I'm looking at my outliner organization, I'm like seeing all these kind of like very tiny mistakes that I made, which is without the mirror repeater. Like with the mirror repeater, everything looks like they are connected to each other, but without the mirror repeater, you can see that my strings are on the right side and these things are on the left side. But I think in this case, one thing that I realized from working on the Guardian is that because the lighting is predominantly on the right side, and this is just because I'm working on in lit PBR mode most of the time instead of the madcap mode. So because the lighting is more this direction, I find that I haven't really been working on this area here because it's just a lot more well lit on the right side. So I'm kind of like considering moving everything to the right side too. I'm not sure whether this one like is my lake. Yeah, it's on the left side. Actually, I'm not really sure like why I was doing things on the right side. So let me just like, this is a good time to show you like how I organize these, like make these kind of fixes. What I'll do is to just clone this. So I have a mirror repeater like this, and then and then I will validate this and keep the instances. So now they're like that. And now I will grab the left side and put it under the mirror repeater again and remove this one. So now you can see you see how fast and easy that was. Now when I do this, my objects are on the left side. There's some like there's some little bits of changes I feel with the latest Nomad Sculpt update, which is that when I select the object that's being mirrored and I also just realized this like yesterday, that if the object is mirrored, it will create these lines on the outliner. I don't know why it took me so long to realize. Like at first I thought it was a bug. I thought like, oh, like sometimes it shows me these line stuff. But then over time I realized that it's because there are times when I'm selecting the original object, like this, and then there are other times, or most of the time, I've been selecting the mirrored object, which will trigger this pattern over here. So if I select the original object that is not being mirrored, then it will be like this, and then I can easily hide the objects. And when I select the mirrored object, so if I don't have the mirror repeater, you can see that this is the actual object. So if I don't have the mirror, if I select the mirrored object and I try to hide it, you can see that I cannot hide this. So I can hide this one, but not this one. I think this is like a new thing. I think. Yeah, I think this is a feature that happened after the new update, because and I think this is the case because I'm not really sure if this was the case, but I don't recall having this issue in the past where like selecting the mirrored object makes me unable to hide both sides. But because this is the thing now, I just try to keep things more at the side where just like more at the side where I'm working on. So that is something else that I keep in mind when I organize my outliner, especially when it becomes like this. Like this is the guardian, and that's like without opening up all these things. So let me just find my bearings first. Okay. So you can see like the leg, because the leg is at the bottom of the sculpt, I tend to put it at the bottom of everything else. And you can see at the top of the what's it called, outliner, you can see all the head things and the upper body stuff, they're all up there. So the leg is here. This one I'm not sure what. And also like at this point, do I want to rename every single object to, I don't know, like do I want to rename this? I'm not really sure yet. I think that's something that I should consider, like do I need to rename them? But I think that's too difficult for me to think about right now, so I'm just going to avoid it. Hip plan, front plate. Actually, why is this? You know what, I think I need a toilet break. I realized I don't have a toilet break sculpt on this Wi-Fi. Let me write here. I feel like it's a kind of a studio tradition at this point to have a toilet break sign somewhere. And then I just keep it on the sculpt, because I feel like they're quite artistic on your own. Oh, so cute. Okay, let me just put this like this, and you'll need to rematch it a bit. Yeah, the things that I'm talking about, I learned them very slowly across many months. So yeah, like you don't need to absorb everything right now. And I guess like I always find all these things so interesting that like I just like I can just like keep going on and on about all these things. I did not know about the mirror object thing. I really think that it's a new update. Yeah. Because I used to just like always, but you see the thing is that I'm not sure whether or not I didn't have this problem in the past, because maybe like all this time I had always been putting my like physical object on the areas that I will always hide, like that I wouldn't be sure about. But I have a feeling that last time, no matter what I click, I can hide them. But this is just like my assumption. I don't know whether or not like it's an old version thing or like a new version thing. Okay, let me go to the toilet break. Okay, I'm back. Outliner. Maybe I should be more specific. Outliner, organization. We should darken this color. It's not that visible, I think. I think all the colors are not visible. Whatever. Let me just. Or maybe I darken this and. I think everything's not really. I think it's fine though. I think it's visible enough. Okay, let's keep going. This looks quite cool. I feel like this is a good idea of a sculpt. But maybe I should do this for. Okay, let me just take a screenshot of this because I feel like it's a cool idea. Okay. Let me see. Where am I at now? I'm working up past the lake to this. What's this? Is this the back? Are these the back stuff? Yep, this is the back stuff. There's something that I'm wondering, like if I should completely remove this by now. I'm not really sure. But I think I would probably keep it first in case I need it. So I'll just maybe hide these. Because these were the base shapes to, as the, kind of like the skeleton to create all these things. So I have the skirt. The skirt is very straightforward, it's just a skirt. I'll probably put it at this section. And I'll put the skirt stuff below these things in terms of the outliner. Maybe something like this. So the skirt, yeah. So skirt first, and then the skirt stuff, which I don't know what the name is. Okay. Close this up. Do this. I can also keep it like this. A really nice thing I feel about the outliner in Nomad Sculpt is that if I keep certain things open like this, then when I open and close it, it will remember like which ones I kept open and which one I kept closed. So sometimes I like to keep certain things open. So in this case, I'll keep this closed because this is one whole thing. So something like this, and then I'll keep the mirror group open so that I can see the individual things over here. I'm just thinking, was this the one that I didn't fix? Oh yeah, I haven't fixed this yet. Wait, did I fix this already? Yeah, I haven't fixed this. So I'm going to fix the orientation of this one. And this is really not necessary because at the end of the day, once you validate the mirror object, then you're just going to get both of them. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. But then because I have so many objects here, I just prefer to, or maybe because I have OCPD, so I just prefer to keep everything on the same side. So let's do that. I'm going to clone this thing. I'm going to move this here. I'm going to move this here. I feel like sometimes it's a little bit finicky. And I'm going to validate this while keeping the instances. I think it's doing that. And then I will move this back. Oh my gosh. I feel like this is a little bit too finicky. Like, I find that I need to be like really precise. Maybe just a change of the text. Yeah, it's always nice to have like this hidden toilet break sign, and then it's like when you need to go to the toilet, then it's just like ta-da, it's there. It's super useful. But in terms of the OBS side, I just feel like it's too many things right now for my brain to process, so I just leave it the way that it is. What was I doing? This one. So now I have this, and when I disable the mirror repeater, everything is on the correct side now, so that is great. Then I can delete these objects. Delete these so that there's no duplicates, and let's just double check this. Everything is good now. So the skirt is good, and I really don't want to do the hip stuff. Like the main thing that I need to organize is all these new tube stuff that I did. Feels like such a pain. Let me see, this one, hip front plate. So this around this time. Before this, I was working on just these portions, and now that I'm getting to the more complicated part, now I have to think about all these objects relative to each other, like what makes more sense when I have to combine everything together. So the hip plate, I want to put it together with this because I feel like that makes sense to me. So I can put it down here, but then now it's like the hip plate is more closely related to these things, all these belt and stuff. So initially I was putting the skirt above the skirt stuff, but then now that I have to put this hip thing together with this one, I'm just going to put the skirt below. So you see, like, things keep changing. Yeah, it is always evolving, just dependent on, even with like this, whenever I create new objects, all these things are subjected to change. But then the main general idea that stays the same is usually like, where are they relatively in the 3D space, and I usually put them quite accurately in the outliner too. It's just like the little bits that starts yeah, like they just change a little bit here and there. So one other thing that I try to take note of is when I want to think about moving the characters like this. So this is the other thing that I have to think about. When I move the characters like this, how do I, what objects do I want to track together with the other objects? So you can see, like, when I move the leg, I kind of want to have this moving together. At least this is initially what I think about. So I can kind of test this out like this, just to see whether or not it makes sense. Then now when I rotate this, like it kind of makes sense because like, oh, if he's sitting down like this, then it makes sense that this thing tracks together with his leg. But then let's see, but then going backwards, then I guess it doesn't make sense because now these objects are sticking out. But at the same time, it's kind of weird for him to do this. So maybe, yeah, just maybe it makes sense for this to track with the leg. Yeah. And then then after that I think about, do I need to track this with the leg? So I can try that. I can put this down here and probably not, right? Because then it's doing this weird like internal rotation into his torso. So I probably wouldn't do that. But with this one, it kind of makes sense for them to track together like this. I mean, another thing would be that I can use this leg group, which is more centered to his hips. And then when I put his hip plate over here and then I rotate this, it still looks kind of weird. Yeah, so these are the decision makings that I do to figure out whether or not I want things parented to each other or not. But at this stage, let me see. So now that I do want to parent this underneath the legs, I realize that I don't need an extra mirror repeater here. So I can actually move this out and delete this, and now everything is together like this. So this mirror repeater will be responsible for mirroring all of these objects. I think that looks neater in the outliner. So pants, and well, that's not bad. So I may consider like putting this down here or putting this over here and then rotating everything like that. But I think so far like doing this seems pretty good. And also, if I want to duplicate the mirror repeater, if let's say I have to put the skirt stuff separately, then it's very easy for me to clone this mirror repeater and use it to mirror the other stuff like this. But I think for now, I'll just keep everything together like that. And I can keep this close if I want to. And I should call this. Oops. I hope I didn't type something weird. But you know what? I think I will just name this as like 2. Sometimes it's more like how readable it is at a glance that matters more to me. So this one is 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then back. I think that looks good. And then this one, because when I rotate this, you can see the legs sticking out like that. So I'm just going to squish this a little bit. I want to make sure that I'm not adjusting the visible section too much. So now when I rotate this, it's a little bit more invisible. I'm going to reduce the tension on the cloth like this. Just try to make it more make it flatter. Then look at the different angles like this. Let me smooth this out. And then now I have, let's work on the hands first. Let's look at the hands first, because this is more straightforward for me. Oh yeah, where's Turbo Granny? Yes, that's cute. So with the hands, man, I really don't know whether or not I want to move everything to the left, because this is the mirrored object again. But so I guess I'll call this palm. Scale, where's the scale? And then we organize the scales because it's not in order. So top to the bottom. Something like that. And these are all connected to the palm. But I think I might, because this is looking a little bit messy, I'm going to use the palm to create a group like this. Maybe I'll position this group a little bit more centered like this. And now I will put the scales in this group like that. I think that looks pretty good. And I'll call this the scales. So this way, when I open up this outliner, I'm not I'm not blasted with this whole thing over here, because I don't need to look at the individual scales. At least at this moment, I don't need to. So when I close this and I open this in the outliner, you can see I can look at the palm and I can look at the thumb, the index. Let's rename these thumb. I'm still unsure how I want to rename all my fingers, but then I guess at this moment it's just like this. I guess at the end of the day it's not really that, doesn't matter as much. And because I redid this hand very recently, all my gizmo positions are pretty good. I'm happy with all these gizmo positions. Whereas the one before that, the one that I did many months ago, it's like all the gizmos are quite messed up. So now everything should be working pretty well. So I'm just gonna close these up. Okay, let's look at what these are. I'm gonna keep forgetting that on the other side. Yeah, so this is the arm stuff, forearms. Forearm. I learned so much about the forearm through climbing. I feel like there's just so many things interesting about it that I want to share when it comes to the forearms. And then the next one is the elbow guard. So elbow guard, and this one is for the elbow tube. This elbow tube is for mirroring this tube on the left and at the bottom side, like that. And then it's elbow tube. And this is the arm, and these are, I'm not sure why I created a group for this, but not for this. Let me create a group for this. I will take the average of, let me take this gizmo position to create this group. And use this to group this up. And I'll use this to call it shoulder armor, shoulder plates. Just because there are other shoulder armors around, so I'll just name this as shoulder plates. I think that's straightforward enough. What's this? I see. Why is this not inside? So this one, this one, this one. Let me check the forearm armor. Eventually I will probably replace them, I think. I'm not sure whether I want to replace them or just work on them. And then this is a mirror. This one is the, now it's the cage armor. Oh yeah, I want everything to be on the right side too. So, and then as I mentioned earlier, like the reason why I want it on the right side is because I've been pressing a lot of the objects on the right side, and I realized that it's making it inconvenient to sculpt on. Go to eat. Yeah, no problem. I'm really happy to be able to share all these information with you guys. combat the sculpting. Yeah, this is like I feel like these are things that people will find tedious and not fun, but somehow I find these kind of things like really fun. I think because like they are so simple and straightforward that like, yeah, like sculpting is really fun, but then it really tires my brain out. So over time, like I kind of like get into sculpting, and then when I get too tired, I get into organization. I really like to organize things. I feel like I organize things too much. But then that's also the reason like how I get good at organizing things, I guess. To the point where I can show you guys like how to do your own things. But yeah, thank you for coming in to the stream. Yeah. Hope that you have a good dinner. I hope that everyone has a good dinner or lunch or breakfast, wherever you are. And I'll keep going. So this one, elbow, elbow, elbow. Seems like everything is based off this mirror. So I will do the same thing, but I clone this. I can even just call this arm actually. And then I will validate this and grab the left side. So grab the left side, put this here, delete this one, and now it's as if I didn't do anything. Like everything has always been there this whole time. But I find like in the past when I used to feel more like oh my god, like there's so many things going on here, overwhelmed I guess by the sheer number of objects, I feel like it takes a while for my brain to be like, okay, what do I do now? Then I'll look at this and be like, okay, I need to duplicate this and then put this under something, and yeah, so I feel like now I can do things a lot faster, but in the past it's like definitely this would have been quite difficult for me. I'm going to center this a little bit more so that it doesn't feel out of place. I can also see how I want to parent these things. So right now when I move the arm, everything tracks together, which is good. But now when I do this, I'm wondering, do I want this to track together with the arm? So I'm just gonna try that because I'm not sure. And I feel like probably not then. So maybe probably what I would do would be to do this, and then I'll just do this specific to the movement that when it gets to the time to pose this guy. I also need to center it a little bit better like that. Let's see, elbow guard, elbow tube, forearm. I prefer the green arrow at the top, so I'm just going to adjust the pivot so that the green arrow is pointing upwards, like this. This one also change the pivot. I'm not sure whether I want this to, I guess I want the green to also face forward, so this is just a personal preference kind of thing. Just making sure that I don't have a crazy amount of rotation angle in the object. So now everything's good. So if I want to track this forward, I can very easily do that. I'm just more used to like, oh, the green arrows on top, and then I can move it up and down like that. Same thing with the blue arrow. I prefer it to face the front. I guess like matching, now that I look at this, I prefer it matching the orientation of the front, the right, and the top. So that's about it for the arms. So I like it like this. I'll close this up. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now I can close this and work on everything else. So I'll probably call this the torso harness and parent the details to this. I got so many things. I should have renamed these to, I don't remember what these are called. Metal rings. Metal rings. This one is the torso belt. Then this one is the, what's it called? What's this thing called? Seam line? Thread. Should I call it thread or seam line? Seam line, thread. Let me see, seam line. Probably call it thread then, because it's a shortening. Let me see, this one's the top seam line. There's something else I like to do when I have all these whole bunch of things. But there's one object that is quite specific, quite individual. Is I prefer to put this object at the top of the outliner, and all these things. Maybe I arrange it like the top in, out, top in, bottom. And I guess I'll just keep all this open. But another thing that I can do would be to duplicate this, because it's getting very long and very hard to read. I can also do this. And call this torso belt. I can also do this, and this way you just keep everything separate. And I can also put this at the bottom here, like that. So this one I can call it the torso. Shirt front. My outliner naming is super creative. Chest plate. For the Guardian, there's only one chest plate, so I can just call this the chest plate. For this, because that's a shirt, oh, maybe I just call this shirt ladder. And this is the shirt. And then I can put them like this. This one. So shirt, shirt front, ladder, the harness, the details, and the details are on the right. Ah, damn it. Okay, let me quickly fix all these. I think by now you know what I'm doing. Just very straightforward stuff. Same thing for, let me just close this up then, getting a bit too long. So clone this and then validate this, and let's just isolate these things. Not sure whether or not I can just, you know what, never mind, I'll just do it one by one. Better to be safe than trying to do things fast. So finicky. And this one, let's put you here. So now I have everything on the right side. I don't think I lost anything by accident. I think everything is there. Let me just check. I'm just checking that I didn't accidentally delete something. And something else that took me like the longest time to, oh, that's already the torso section. Torso. Oops. Something else that took me like the longest time to realize is when selecting multiple objects. I don't know why this took me so many months to figure out. If you select the I think I have this explained in one of my older tutorials, but if you select the object that is not highlighted in the lighter color like this, then you end up only moving that specific object. So you just have to be mindful that when you're doing multi-selection, the outliner, you have to select this one, the lighter color selection, and that will allow you to move every single thing, even when it's something like that. If you select the lighter color one, you can move every single object to the new position in the outliner. So that's what I've been doing for moving multiple objects. It took me really too fucking long, like to get this right. Let me see now. Is sculpting on the right side now. Yep, everything's on the right side. That's good. So with this done, I can also just close this up because I think I'm pretty happy with where all these things are placed at the moment. Maybe I just need to adjust this a bit actually. Okay, let me just quickly adjust this one. Wait, why am I working on that? I should be working on this side now. Okay, now the whole line is more visible. Like when working on all these tiny details, it's just a lot easier to break them up into smaller pieces and make full use of the super helpful repeaters like this to repeat every single thing. So all these objects are all repeated across. You can see like it's repeated across like that until the back. Let me fix this one again. Just pushing it outwards a little bit so that it's not cut into the object. Let's see. But the downside of doing things like this in the more modular way would be that there'll be a lot more things to deal with in the outliner. So I've been working on this, on refining the sculpt further for a while now, and that's why you can see like my outline is a little bit messy. And so like sometimes doing my outliner organization feels a little bit more involved just because I have so many objects to deal with. But it's like at the end of the day, I know that doing all these... Gee, why is this one so sharp? At the end of the day, I know that doing all these separation and modular workflow helps me create like a... makes my life a lot easier in the long run. Okay, so the torso is done, I think. So around this time, when I've already organized the little bits, now it's time to organize the outliner again in the functional way. So right now, my organization is based on this t-shirt, like this. So I think it's nice that everything is tracking along with the t-shirt. I can also make everything track together with this object here. But then, and just because this object at the front of his chest is pretty big, so I usually might end up pressing this more often than this one. But then when I look at it in the whole scheme, I guess like I will associate more like the big objects being the one parenting every single object to it. So in this case, I will keep the parenting the way that it is. Everything's parented to this white color t-shirt. But now that I've moved this and look at the functionality of this object, I realized that it's tracking at the wrong part. Like, it should be tracking here instead. So now's the time when I can move this to somewhere around here, I think. And now when I rotate this, he's folding correctly. And at this point I realized that his head should be tracking with the shirt. So I think I'll just put this. I can also put like a group together and use the group as the pivot point. Like this. I guess that's why I did here. I didn't realize that. I guess because this is a newer object, I did put it on the right side. So eyeball, big top, big bottom, eagle head, eye. Then I can collapse this. So I can choose to use a group to group everything. And the way that I make the decision, like, do I want to use the group to adjust this, or do I want to use an object selection to track all the objects together? I think that's just personal preference at this point. But just be mindful that if you have the default switched on, which is yeah, you can see like without the outliner, you can turn on the visibility of the group down here, and with this you can select the individual group and use it to pose your character as you want to. But you can see that because I have so many different objects in the scene. I have like different characters. I have like the Duchess standing somewhere here. I mean, over here, I have, I guess, another eagle over here for one of my older tutorials. Yeah, just like so many things. You can see like even the Chico, I have like different groups around. So I don't like to keep this visible. But if your sculpt is really simple like this, then it's possible to just keep this. It's possible to keep the group icon visibility on all the time, and then you can select this. You can select it and move things around like that. So at this point, it's just like personal preference. Do I want the head to be parented to this object? I'm not really sure yet, but I think I'll just do that. And I'll probably put this as and then the same thing about doing the organization based on what I'm seeing here. Should wait, where is this? Oh, it's over here. Okay. I'll put this above so that I can align this to the eagle head, the collar. Let me just call this a collar. Neck plate. Neck plate. Or should I just call this neck? I feel like it stands out more visually if I just call it neck. And then I'll collapse this. So this one, I guess the torso, chest plate, this one, torso. Back plate, I haven't really done that much with it. What's this? Huh. Is this part of the sculpt? I don't recall. Yeah, I'm not sure whether this is just like an old sculpt I did. I'll probably look at it in the future. But this is a back plate. This is a back plate. Back plate. Probably I don't need this part, I can just trim this off. Oops, I forgot to switch on the symmetry. I probably don't need this, I think. I'm pretty confident that I don't need this. This is one of the ways to save topology polygon count. So I call this the shoulder cage. Now I'm on the shoulders. Wait, is this all done? This one's done, this one's done. Done. This one I'm not sure. I guess I just, you know what, let me just open a reference image. Oh wait, I didn't put the back view here. I guess I'm not sure whether this is the official one, but yeah, maybe I'll just keep it in. Maybe I'll just keep it. This one feels like a pain. Okay, let me put this as the nail. Wait, no. What's this thing called? Oh my god, I don't know what these things are. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna call them whatever. Plate top, plate edge, the sun, sun rim. See, why did I do this? Let me check. Oh my god, it's so messy. I'm gonna move this. I'm gonna move this to the front. Why did I do this? Okay, so I'm gonna multi-select this one. Oh, yeah, I'll move this forward to. Yeah, I'll move everything forward. So I'll select all of this. And remember, use the lighter highlighter color to move everything to the new group. And now I can validate this. Oh my god. Oh, this is so tedious. Why did I do this to myself? Delete this. Maybe I can just wait. Why did I not move this? I think I can just delete this. Okay, now it should be correct. I'm just going to check that I didn't delete anything. Yeah, I think everything's good. Sometimes when it's when there are a lot of objects involved, like I feel a bit paranoid that I deleted extra stuff. Let's correct this one so that it's not floating anymore. And then let's correct this. just make the connection a little bit more seamless. Now that's done, now just rotate this a little bit. This is so tedious. So many objects. Okay, just call it sun. Now I probably want to group everything together, so this object, actually now I realize that I probably prefer it a little bit up. Oh my god, it's so difficult. So I probably prefer this. I probably prefer my group position to follow this one. So I'll use this gizmo as the position of this group existence. I'll take this out and I'll call this sun rays. And I'll grab every single piece. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and yeah, I'm not sure whether I want to call it metal. Because one of the things with outliners is that the more they're parented to each other, the shorter the spaces. So maybe I'll just call it this way. So now I have this group where it's just the rays of the sun. It's very nice. Not sure whether this is supposed to do this. I'll just put it like that for now. Make sure that this is curving nicely. And then sun rays are done. Now I need to make sure that the order is correct. So this one should be above sun rays. Also, sun rays are below this. So let's put this below the flat metal. Flat metal, sun rays. And maybe I can put the sun like this. I see the rim, top, edge, metal, sun rays. Now the other stuff. I'm not sure whether this is one of the old ones. I guess the thing is that I'm not really sure whether or not I want to rename these. I'll probably just keep them as tubes. For now, they're not. The naming's not really that important. I think the main thing is that if I switch off this mirror repeater, everything's on the front side. So this is all good. Then, so this one's done. Chest plate. So I probably want to put this, let me see, the shoulder cage. Yeah, I just want to shorten this. Shorten this to should the torso. The back plate, I think. I put the back plate at the top. Need shoulder cage and shoulder mesh. I think that's correct. Although I'll rename this as old, and this is the oh wait, these are all the old ones. I can delete this. It's a good time to clean up wherever that I don't need. So this one's the old one. I can probably take this out. I do want to keep it just to keep a reference of like how my old sculpts used to look like. And now I can do shoulder. Yep, this is really messy. Maybe I'll go down this way. This one, this one. Maybe this way then. Maybe I can just call this horizontal, just to make a mark on the different ones. This one, this one, this one. Because this is not really done, set in stone yet. So I'm just, oh my god, this is so confusing. I'll probably do something like this. No, this one is still like pretty much base mesh that I haven't figured out yet. So I can just keep it this way. And then now we have the arm again, which we did already at the start. So let me just test the logic. So the arm like this. I remember doing this a long time ago where I parented the shoulder cage to the arm, and I think it didn't work out. But then at the same time, I do want to mirror this to the other side. So I guess this is all good really. So the this whole thing is done. So that's the upper body. Where is this? Which one is this? Oh, I have a hip. I've forgotten that there's a hip. Not sure that I need it though. I guess I need it. Oh my god, this. Running out of time too. Okay, let me just try to do this as fast as I can. This. I think at this point I'm just going to... Hello, Jonas! I'm not sure whether you've come before, but so many teams I know it. It's so crazy. It's kind of like driving me nuts a bit. I think at this point, like, it's just, I'm just doing the same thing over and over again. So, because I'm running out of time, I think I'll just mute the mic for now and try and finish everything up before I have to go. think I'm done. Yay, I'm done with this. Well, like, it took some effort to do the organization pass, but it's all done. Everything is organized in a functional and logical manner. So I'm pretty happy with this. I think most importantly, like, because yesterday I was moving his legs around. Oh right, it's about this. I was moving his legs around and then everything was breaking. So I'm really glad that now I can do this. And now he can climb some boulder problems. Let me just check this one. Yeah, cool shit. And that's it for... Why is it that he still looks weird on the side? You know, I think I need to balance him out again on the side view. Looking a bit weird. But I think that's good for now. And I hope that whatever I said in this live stream is helpful for you, especially if you find the outliner quite a new and scary thing. At the end of the day, the outliner is there to make things more manageable. Like, you just need to learn how to see things in little chunks, and once you get used to it, and once you know like all the features and like what the repeater does and all that stuff, then everything else is pretty straightforward. So I'll see you guys in the next one.